Once upon a time, in the land of ancient Vietnam, nestled among emerald mountains and winding rivers, there lived a sage king known as Hung Vuong the 18th. He ruled over a prosperous kingdom, beloved by his people for his wisdom and kindness. Yet the king's heart carried a deep worry, for he had a precious daughter, Princess My Nuong, renowned for her beauty, grace, and gentle spirit. Many kings and princes from distant lands journeyed to seek her hand, each eager to win her favor. To select a worthy son-in-law and ensure the happiness of his daughter, Hung Vuong devised a contest. He announced that anyone wishing to marry the princess must present precious gifts: 100 trays of sticky rice, 100 pairs of glutinous rice cakes, elephants with 9 tusks, chickens with 9 spurs, and horses with 9 reds. Only one with extraordinary power and resourcefulness could fulfill this challenging demand. News of this contest reached every corner of the land, word spreading like a summer breeze through the forests and beyond the rivers. Among the suitors, 2 stood out above all others, both mighty and exceptional, each representing a force of nature. The first suitor was Thuy Tinh, the spirit of the mountain. He arrived adorned in robes of green, his eyes bright like morning dew, carrying the fragrance of ancient forests and the calmness of mountain peaks. Thuy Tinh commanded the mountain winds, could summon cliffs and meadows, and controlled all that grew upon the hillsides. The second suitor was Thuy Tinh, the spirit of the waters. His arrival was heralded by the sound of rushing streams and gentle rain. Cloaked in shimmering blue, he sparkled with the sheen of rivers and lakes, his presence as refreshing and powerful as a tidal wave. Thuy Tinh commanded rivers, conjured rainstorms, and could drown valleys with a mere gesture. Both presented themselves before the king, each certain of his worthiness. Hung Vuong, witnessing their unmatched powers, was torn over whom to choose for his beloved daughter. Thus, he announced that whoever brought forth the required wedding gifts first, at dawn the next day, would win the hand of My Nuong and become his rightful son-in-law. As night blanketed the land, the suitors prepared for their quest. Thuy Tinh, swifter than the wind, called upon woodland creatures and mountain spirits. He scoured the highlands, finding wild elephants adorned with gleaming tusks, horses swift and red as the setting sun, and rare fowls whose spurs glittered like gold. In the moonlight, he and his companions gathered sticky rice and formed cakes, soft and fragrant, laying them upon 100 wooden trays. At first light, Thuy Tinh presented himself at the gates of the palace, bearing all the treasures the king had decreed. Hung Vuong, true to his word, united Thuy Tinh and My Nuong in celebration, their joy echoing through the valleys. Music, laughter, and the scent of banquet rice filled the air, as the people rejoiced in the union of mountain and princess. But just as festivities flourished, a storm brewed on the horizon. Thuy Tinh, arriving only moments later with his own gifts, learned that the challenge had already been won, and that My Nuong was now wedded to his rival. His heart burned with jealousy and rage. Refusing to accept defeat, Thuy Tinh unleashed the full fury of his elemental power. He summoned roaring storms and conjured the mightiest of floods. Torrents of rain poured from the heavens, rivers overflowed their banks, and the waters rose higher and higher, threatening to engulf the king's palace and everyone within. The people trembled and called out for mercy as the land seemed fated to disappear beneath the wild, wrathful current. But Thuy Tinh would not be bested. Standing atop the mountains, he raised his arms and summoned the spirit of stone and earth. With a whisper, hills grew taller and mountains soared skyward, lifting villages and the palace above the relentless tide. Trees and rocks formed firm barriers, blocking the waters and shielding the people from destruction. For days, Thuy Tinh raged against Thuy Tinh defenses. He sent down whirlwinds and unending rain, but with each assault, Thuy Tinh drew the mountains even higher, keeping floods at bay. Exhausted and unable to overcome his rival, Thuy Tinh was finally forced to withdraw, his anger echoing in the receding storm clouds. Yet Thuy Tinh bitterness did not fade with the storm. Year after year he returned, unleashing floods and rains upon the land, hoping to reclaim what he had lost. And each year, Thuy Tinh stood firm, raising the mountains once more to protect the people. Thus, the struggle between the spirit of the mountain and the spirit of the waters continued through the ages. The people of Vietnam remembered this tale, seeing in every monsoon and flood the aftermath of Thuy Tinh unending battle. But they also found hope in Thuy Tinh steadfastness, knowing that courage and determination could overcome even the mightiest obstacles. Parents told their children this story as the rains beat against their rooftops, reminding them of the duel between power and resilience, of envy and loyalty, of nature's wrath and nature's guardianship. The legend of Thuy Tinh and Thuy Tinh became a living lesson, that harmony with nature demands both respect and vigilance, that love is not easily won, and that perseverance shines brightest in the face of adversity. Even now, when heavy rains threaten the land, the people look to the mountains for protection, and remember the day when the fate of a princess set the course for an eternal struggle between water and stone, between the raging flood and the rising peak. A story from the dawn of their nation, echoing in every river that runs and every mountain that stands steadfast against the storm.